Time now for Something You Should Know, brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com. That's also something you should know, that you can put your retirement plan on the gold standard. Genesis Gold Group is the only IRA backed by physical gold and silver. You can get all of the details on their website, GenesisGoldIRA.com. And here's something you should know. Tonight, there is a special showing of a movie called The Good Half. Now, we talked with Elizabeth Shue on Monday about The Good Half. We talked with Matt Walsh yesterday about The Good Half. And today, we're going to talk to the director and the producer, Robert Schwartzman. And if that name sounds familiar, he's been involved in a ton of stuff between directing and producing and acting. And he comes from like one of the most famous families ever, Uncle Francis Ford Coppola, cousin Nicolas Cage, cousin Sofia Coppola, brother Jason Schwartzman. I mean, this guy's got a lot of great stuff going on. And again, there's a special showing of the film, The Good Half, tonight in theaters all around the country, but here in Sioux Falls as well. And you'll get a chance not only to see the movie, but you get to see an interview with Nick Jonas, who's in this movie, and an interview with Robert Schwartzman. And this looks like a darn good movie.
Thanks for having me. Okay. Just want to say, you mentioned Elizabeth Shue and Matt Walsh. I feel honored to be the third guest. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
So, no, it's great. It's great to be here talking about the film. Yeah, it's important to go to see movies in theaters. I mean, we're all like people that stay home and order food and watch movies online or on streaming platforms. But I just want to reiterate. I mean, I think there's a beauty to going out to see a film on the big screen. It's very powerful to when the lights go off and you're in this room for this amount of time. But we're lucky that we're playing all around the country on all the screens, so I hope people come out and see it. But that people get out and see it, and I love to hear from people. So if anyone sees it and likes it or whatever you feel, would love these messages online, sharing your thoughts, because I think that's part of the power of seeing the movie. It's this communal experience of sharing. So that's why we go to the theater.
Well, and the thing that's fun when you go to the theater. Again, not only you have like way better popcorn than you make at home, but you get to watch this and experience this with a whole bunch of friends and a bunch of strangers too. But you get to be there, and it's more of an experience than it is just sitting in the darkness of your own living room.
Well, you know what it is too that's really interesting about The Good Half is this is a movie that deals with. I mean, it's a movie you can laugh in, and it's a movie you can cry in, and it's a movie that kind of takes you on this emotional roller coaster. But grief, is something we all experience. That feeling, like love, is a universal experience. Grief is universal, and you can be in a room with strangers, but you have similar feelings, right? We're all built with these emotions. So there's a sort of this movie in a way deals with subject matter that I think is very sort of unifying or communal or relatable in emotion, what it kind of brings out of you. So I find when we watch it in rooms, it's great. I mean, like I feel it screened at Tribeca originally, and just to see it in a room with a lot of people was so amazing. Like getting the laughs and getting seeing someone next to me like tearing up at that moment. It kind of shows you the power of filmmaking.
Yeah.
If you're doing it right, you're bringing out of somebody some kind of response emotionally. So I just think it's funny, I was talking about it recently, but with all these big spectacles that we live in today of these like IP comic book movies.
Oh, yeah.
I think a balance, it's like a diet. It's like you have to have a balanced diet. Those movies represent, probably something that really like triggers a response similar to like eating a giant cake. But I think that like you have to balance yourself with something stimulating too. So as long as people are engaging with film in some level, I think as a filmmaker, that's all you can ask for, to support your fellow filmmakers.
Absolutely. Now, the new film, The Good Half, you got to be the director and the producer on this, but in addition to being a director and a producer on many projects, you're also an actor on some projects as well. I remember The Princess Diaries, and there's a big long list of others on here. Is it when you're on the set and you're an actor compared to being the producer, the director, how different is that for you personally? That's got to be like wearing a completely different hat and like a whole different experience.
Yeah, it's totally different. I mean, there are ways that it's really beneficial, and then there are ways that it can be very distracting. But I've produced films for other filmmakers. I do it really only if it's something I'm very much involved in on like a passionate creative level. I don't just casually produce stuff, like as a job. So, but I think what it is if you're directing a movie, you have to always you're always given decisions to make, right? Everyone's looking to you for the answers, whether it's, is she wearing the scarf? Do you want the hair up or down? Is this shade too dark? Is this shade too light? Is this chair right? But, so as a producer, you're dealing with a whole set of like circumstances every day. You have to have other people you can work on set to be able to answer those bigger logistical questions when you're answering these in the weeds, the little tiny questions of shaping the scene. So in that way, it can be distracting, right? If you have to deal with like, hey, we can't find the driver of this truck. It's blocking the building. This is where you wanted to shoot. Sorry, no one coned off the street in the morning. Those are little things. Okay, let's change. Let's shoot it over here. But I think as a director, knowing production, there's a sensitivity to how we problem solve, because you know what the problems are in real time, or you know what they were last week, so you know how to get in front of them. That's a great benefit. And I think directing is problem solving. People, whether it's just on the small level of an actor doesn't want to say the line, or a bigger level of we lost the location. Yeah. So I don't know. I really like, my dad was a movie producer. I got to watch, him kind of work up until a point in my life where he passed away. And that's sort of what The Good Half for me was. I know what, my father passed away. So when I was young, so I kind of have my own experience with loss and grief and what it means to kind of go through this. I found that in this movie, in directing it. And then there's movies that I produce only where I just want to direct it because I'm like, you not want to step in, but I just want to be able to inspire the director to think a little bit outside the box when it comes to how to get through this problem. So it's a balance. Oh, sorry. My kids are waking up. You may hear screaming. But anyway, so it's a balance of how you get through it and find, make sure you can always keep your eye on the ball creatively. And then I think as a producer, it's always supporting the needs of the director and making sure this isn't your film, the director. You're just here to help make it happen.
Absolutely. Well, Robert, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it a bunch, sir.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I hope people get to see it on the 25th.
Again, our guest today has been Robert Schwartzman. He is the producer and the director of a movie called The Good Half. It's in theaters again tonight with a special showing where you get to see an interview with him, also an interview with Nick Jonas. And it's way more fun to see it on the big screen with all your friends than to just, click the button later and watch it at home. You can do that as well. But go check it out tonight. It's in theaters. All of the details at facebook.com/sunnyradio.
And something you should know.
Something You Should Know is brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com. Put your retirement plan on the gold standard. Get a free gold and silver guide now at GenesisGoldIRA.com.